Hello, you guys, and welcome back. How are you doing this morning, Miss Maddie?
Good. I put on some clothes today. I was like, you know what? I'm not
Love.
gonna treat this Monday like get out of bed and like throw another different set of like pajamas slash like workout clothes on and just be about my day. I'm like, I'm gonna put myself together today. So that's what I did.
I love that. I had a put together moment, but I'm like sweating. It got really hot in here, and I don't want to open up the window because like noise and everything. So I had to take the sweater off
I was
because
like, are you going through menopause?
no, I literally dying. I like put the fan on, but it's like it's gonna get up to 60 degrees today. And as like
Mhm.
a New England girly, that might as well be like fucking summertime, put on the bathing suits because it literally snowed. Like when you guys are listening to this, it will not have snowed the other day, but it literally snowed like a couple of days ago, and now it's gonna
Mhm.
be like 60. Like hashtag our world is fucked. Um, and I'm done with the snow. And that's my piece. So I'm sweating at 60 degrees.
Yeah, you literally sent me pictures and I was like, do you live in the tundra?
Yes. The answer is
Mm.
yes, sometimes.
Sometimes. Yeah,
And
it's
I'm
gonna
like,
be 68, I think, today.
oh, slay. And it's the total eclipse day.
What
So
time? Oh, what time does that happen?
that's why I said we have to record in the morning because I am not working from 2 to 4 because totality comes at like three something.
Wait, so does it mean I literally have not paid attention to anything. Is it like dark,
Love.
dark?
So it will start. So it's basically like the moon will it'll start covering the sun. It's not going to happen quickly. It doesn't happen like, it's like in a 2-ish hour range. But total coverage is like when the moon will be completely in front of the sun. So it'll look like dusk outside. So I'm
But
going to
we
try and
can
take,
go outside, right?
yeah, you just can't look
Oh.
up at unless you have the proper glasses,
Hmm.
which I do. I tried them this morning. If you wear them, like you literally can't see anything. But if you look at like the sun, you can see the
Hmm.
sun, but it's dull.
Hmm.
So like you can look at it, but you're not really supposed to stare at it like for crazy amounts of time,
Hmm.
because like it's powerful. But super, super fun. Also, like I've been seeing so many like weird like conspiracy theories that I'm like I have
Hmm.
anxiety. I just have to get off TikTok because
Like what?
people are like you should be preparing for a 36-hour blackout and I'm like ah. Like what side of TikTok did I end up on? But also I go to James, do we have gas for the generator? So like I'm prepared for all outcomes,
Mhm.
but also why am I on conspiracy theory TikTok? It's not good for the anxiety. I skip past it.
No, no. You know what you need? What I am currently doing is a
What?
little dopamine reset where I am not going on social media right before bed because who doesn't love to get into bed and be like, and just like
Mm,
scroll like
I
mindlessly
do. I
like a
do.
amoeba brain cell like and literally I've been using social media to wake up. I'm a sociopath. Why am I waking up and I'm like checking everything? Like, yes, you are too. I know you are. And it's
Always,
fine because
always.
I bet you everyone listening is all three of you. Me, Allie, and then some rando.
Our diehard listener.
And last night I did no social before bed. Fantastic. This morning, when I woke up, I turned off my alarm, took my basal body temperature, plugged that in before I forget into the app, and then I didn't go on my phone. And I got out of bed within 5 minutes because I was like, well, there's nothing else to do here. I might as well get up because I can't sit and scroll for 15 minutes. And I was like, I'm gonna really try to stick with this. So if I have a slip up, not the end of the world. But I feel
Yeah.
like I have just used like I just why am I scrolling all the time? And you're gonna love this because you love this person. Listen to a Joe Rogan episode with listen, he has you can think what you want, but he has very varied guests on there, and I love that. Like
He has,
if
I will, that's my only if I have one thing to say about him, it's that he gets guests. And like
yeah.
you listen to other podcasts and maybe their guests suck. Not
Yeah, and he's
ours.
and soft plug. And so anyway, and where was I going with this?
They
Oh,
guess.
Yes, and they were like saying like how he is so good at multitasking and with his time. And he's like, because time is finite. And I was like, so freaking true. Like, why am I spending so much time? Like, I use the excuse, oh, I run a virtual business. I need to be on my phone. I do not need to be scrolling all the time. I really don't.
Mm,
I need to consume less. And I know we've had this conversation like a couple podcasts ago, probably. And I was like, okay, I need to put this into practice. Like, time is finite. So I'm like, that's like going through my head. Like, I just go to grab my phone. What's going on? Time is finite. Why am I
mm,
spending time consuming everyone else's content? So I'm really gonna focus on that for the next, hopefully, couple weeks. Get that into a solid habit because I just like I hate that I do that. That I reach
mm,
for it. That I want that dopamine response. Like that's not how I should be waking up. That's doing something. I would love to talk to a whether it's a therapist or someone that works with the brain and talk about like social media and the effects on the brain because we all know like there's a higher rate of like of suicide and poor mental health with younger girls in social media. Like that's
mm.
literally anyone with a brain cell could assume that, and they have studies that show that. I would just love to talk to someone about that, the effects on the brain.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really interesting. However, I don't care to try it. Like, I'll be so honest. Should I spend less time scrolling? Yeah, probably. But sometimes the outside world is just like giving me anxiety. So I just like scroll on my
Mm.
phone and I find like cute videos of like cats. Like, I'm currently obsessed with this one girl. She like fosters cats, and two of them are pregnant and they just had their babies. So you better believe I am like living for the algorithm that's showing me these updates from these mama
Mhm,
little kittens that are having their babies. Love that.
mhm,
But yeah, no, sometimes I do find myself like going down the rabbit hole
mhm.
and the energy gets stagnant, but I have to fall asleep listening to something. Like, my brain is like very like
I do brown
conditioned.
noise. I love that.
No, I need talking, 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 talking. Like,
Oh,
I listen to a podcast every night, every
wow.
like just under the pillow, just sleepy, sleepy. And so I'm better about not doing TikTok like once I get into bed. Like, I'll scroll for like 5 minutes and I'm like, all right, I'll just like put my little podcast on and that'll like give me a little lullaby to
Hey,
sleep.
wait, you sleep with your phone next to your head?
Yeah,
Oh my God. Allie, you need to like, you ever hear EMF?
whatever. Like, honestly, I have so much like there's so much shit that is like not right like with my brain that I'm like, whatever. Like, what's one more thing? Like, the anxiety is gonna kill me or something else will. So I said it. Like, I just like I can't sleep without noise, and James
Mm.
cannot sleep with noise.
So
So
what does he do?
I
Wear earplugs?
no, I put it under my pillow. Like, it's just quiet.
Oh,
Mm.
interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, this has been our gig for like 8 years, so it's just
Mhm,
it's just what I do. And then if he's not home one night, or if I go to bed before him, then I have the TV on and he just comes and shuts it off. And then I can usually
mhm,
go the rest of the night without listening to something, like if I'm like too lazy to try and find my phone. But
mhm,
yeah, it like soothes me. I've always been like that. Like, as a kid, me
mm,
and my friend would like watch like on a portable DVD player, like in my bed if we were having a sleepover, and she
mhm.
would take it off, like she'd close it, or my mom would come in and close it, and I'd be like, "Whoa, I was watching that." Like, as soon as the sound stops, I wake up most
Oh,
times.
wow. You
Yeah.
should really try to slowly switch to like ocean or I just want to
Uh,
be more calming for
it's
your brain.
it's not it's the feeling of like I don't want to be like I don't like the
Um,
anxious thoughts run too rampant if there's not
oh,
talking.
mm,
And
mm,
honestly, I'm not at a point in my life where I'm like trying to totally work through that, because it is either like the day to day is like crippling. So like, can't dive into that deeper. Talk to my therapist about
mhm,
it. He's like, "We are not trying to move mountains right now." And I go, "That's period. We are not trying to move
mhm,
mountains. We are trying to stay alive." So scrolling, I can get down with less scrolling.
mhm.
But
What about
people that are
picking up go ahead, go
yeah,
ahead. I
what,
was
picking
gonna
up a
say
I love a
like
good book. Love a good book.
yes, a book or just like I guess for me, and this is totally different. Like your with anxiety, your crutch, you could say, is like scrolling, like calming down the noises and filling it with other people talking, you know?
Mm.
For
Mm-hmm.
me, it's like I am wasting time. This is not anxiety based. I'm like, I
Yeah.
could be doing, I have a million other hobbies I need to work on. Why am I not doing that? So,
Mm.
like, that's why I'm like, well, why wouldn't you just do something else? But it's apples to oranges, right?
Also, like, what are hobbies? That's a thing that I
Mm.
like don't know. Like, I do like to make like knit blankets,
Like, work,
but
you mean like, what's the difference between this is being work or this is
no, I
being
know what
like
a
fun?
hobby is, but like
Oh, okay, okay.
how do people discover hobbies? Like what are people doing for fun? Like,
Mm, hmm.
I'll read but I don't find that to be a hobby. I just find that to be like, oh, I'm relaxing and I just want to read my good book and I'm just
That's a
like,
hobby to me.
it's a hobby. Okay, check.
Yeah.
But like working out is not a hobby, is it?
Yes, for like the common folk. But like for us, it's like part of our
Okay.
job. You know what I mean? Like Joel even
Yeah.
said to me, he's like, "That's not your hobby. That's like part of your job." And I'm like, "That's true." Um,
Why is it a
but
part of the job? Just because like we're like
because
practicing what we preach?
correct.
But I think it's like our lifestyle. Like I'm not doing it because I'm
Oh
getting
yeah,
paid to be in the gym. So
true.
maybe I'm
Yeah,
calling it a hobby
lifestyle.
because
Okay. Yeah.
sometimes it's a hobby. Sometimes I'm like, just fucking do it because you know it's good
Yep.
for you and you have these
Yep.
goals. And then other
Yep.
times I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go to the gym. Let's like wear like our little headphones and put on some good music. And
Yeah.
I'm like, this is for me. So that's a half
Hot.
hobby.
Can you hear the lawnmower outside? I mean, it just
A
passed.
little bit, but not crazy.
I was like, I forgot. We just our people are here to like mow the lawn and stuff. It was just
Yeah.
like too much work. We're not spending time doing that. And usually he's here like Sunday, but this week is Monday, so that's obviously
Mm.
not helpful for the work week. But anyway,
Do
I
you
just
have a
want to
big
make sure.
yard?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah, it's just a lot of work. Like the amount of time we were spending doing yard work. I was like mowing the grass, doing the weeds and everything. I was like, this is ridiculous. So that was, I think we stopped doing yard work like maybe two summers ago was like our last.
Stop all yard work.
But like I rode the lawn mower, the riding one a couple times. Like this is
Oh, you
fun,
have
but
a
like
riding one? Oh my God, that's so fun.
well, we did, and then it finally died. And then
Uh,
Joel's grandma gave us hers because she didn't need it. She moved to a smaller house, not a big yard, but then she needed it back. So we were like, okay, well, I guess we're gonna need to get one eventually. But then we were always like, why are we spending hours and hours of our week doing this
right.
every week when we're already so busy? I'm like, pay for that crap, get it done. Someone
Yeah.
else is in it. So now we don't have to do that anymore, and it's such a lifesaver.
We have a good size yard, but we didn't have a lawnmower when we moved here. So we're getting one gifted for mine and James's birthdays because they're like right kind of next to each other.
Nice gift.
I kind of love a lawnmower moment. I love it.
I
Like I
kind of do
love to snow
too.
blow. I love to mow the lawn, lawn mow. I don't know. Like it gives me an excuse to like sometimes I feel guilty for like taking time to like go outside and just like go on like a leisurely walk, as much as I
Mhm.
can tell my clients like, okay, let's go outside, let's get some sunlight, let's get our steps in.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'm
Mhm.
like, well, I could do this on the treadmill and I could get a little bit of work done.
Yep. Yep.
So if I have to mow the lawn or like snow blow, it's like, well, this has to be done. Like this is a part of owning a house. This is a part of upkeeping your shit. But then it's
Mhm.
also like I get to be outside. I get to,
Yeah.
do things. So, but that's also something that like I think we all feel is like
Yeah.
we want to do these things that are good for us, but then our brain goes, well, I should be doing things
Yes.
to, for other people or for my work or and
Yep.
that's a big thing that comes into play. I know today we wanted to talk about body image and really that kind of ties into it because have you ever experienced this? You have a really great weekend, you have a good week, like you're nailing your nutrition, you've got your steps in, you did some good workouts, you're feeling yourself. You go to step on the scale and you're like, you know what? It's up like a pound. I don't really know why, but I know that I did all the good things. Like I took care of
Mhm.
my body. I got in enough fiber, enough protein, I got my movement in. So I'm not really affected by that number. However, if you found yourself, maybe you had a couple of drinks over the weekend, or you
Mhm,
missed a workout, or your steps were a little bit lower, and you step on that scale and it's still up that like 1 or 2 pounds,
mhm.
you start to look at your body differently. Have you ever experienced that? I know not the drinking part, but just like the
Never the drinking.
body image aspect of like the cognitive dissonance of like, I did all the good things, so that number on the scale doesn't affect me, or I maybe was slacking a little bit, so now that number on the scale is really affecting me.
Yeah, I think I have definitely felt both sides of that coin there, where I
Yeah.
see the number fluctuate heavy, but I know in the back of my mind, oh, I am doing all the things. This is just like
Yep.
a weird like mishap on the scale. And
Yep.
because we've been practicing this for years, it's easy for us to detach from that number, which is why
Yep.
like we say all the time to our clients, like the scale is just a small snapshot into what's going on. Like, for example, I have a client and she's like, I'm just really afraid to step on the scale. I feel amazing in how I feel right now and how I look in my clothes, but like, I'm just really scared the scale's gonna be higher. And I was like, I totally understand like the fear 'cause it's been a while since I've been on the scale.
Mm-hmm.
But two things, if it's up, it really doesn't matter because it
Mm-hmm.
really comes down to like how you feel in your body and your energy and your clothes and all those things. And also, it's really hard to say you feel great, your workouts feel great, your habits are great, and the scale be up. It's really hard for that to happen. Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
can happen, but it's hard to picture that possibly happening. Like math ain't mathin' when that happens. Could
Right.
be like a
Right.
freak thing. But I definitely had like recently where it was like maybe beginning of January. So it was like after I came back from Mexico. I got back from Mexico in December and then we went on vacation end of December. So it was like after a lot of travel and I got on the scale and it was like 5 pounds up from where I normally was. And I was like, what the actual hell? Like, I was like, this is like, I haven't seen this number in a long time. Like, I am like, what is happening? And I have two coaches and I had texted both of them and I was like, "Oh my god, like we need to change something. We need to do this, we need to do that." And like even for both Allie and us, like I'm sure you've had moments like this where I think back whenever you were kind of getting back into after the bad coaching experience you had
Yep.
and you just wanted to feel better by your
Yep.
next event.
Yep.
And a part of you probably was like, I will do anything. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's even as coaches, we still fall into that trap. But after talking to both of my coaches, they're like, where have your steps been? Where has your water been? How chillax have you been on your macros? How this, how that? Let's clean up your steps, your sleep, your
Yep.
stress, your water, your macros. And then in a couple of weeks, let's revisit. Let's
Yep.
see where things are, how you're feeling. And lo and behold, a couple weeks goes by, I'm like, oh, I feel great. Like I was
Right. Right.
I was totally fine. We didn't need to do anything drastic. And I mean that's the beauty of having a coach is like we take the emotion out of it. They took
Mm-hmm.
the stress, the fear, the panicking out of it, showed me the facts. You have been sloppy, basically, and that's
Yeah.
what it comes down to. I was just being sloppy with things. We cleaned it up. The problem fixed itself without having to
Right.
do anything drastic.
Right. And I think that's also like an important part. You said like I was a little bit sloppy with things and we cleaned it up. That just goes to show that like we don't always have to be in this place of like on point, everything super tight, everything is exactly the way it's supposed to look, in a perfect world. Because you can go on vacation, you can do, date nights, you can travel, whatever. And as long as you can always come back to that place, you can come back to like, okay, I know where my steps got to be. I know that I have to get closer to my macros. I know I got to get on top of my water. As long as you can like have that beacon of like, where am I going back to?
Mhm,
The damage is not catastrophic. And I don't even like thinking
mhm,
about it as like damage because it's just like your body is fluctuating, right? Like
mhm,
you're a living, breathing human. Your body is going to respond to all of the things that you're doing. And even if you were on point, flying is going to throw things off. eating certain foods, if you're traveling, you might be constipated. You might have done everything seemingly correct, and that number can still look wonky, or you might feel really bloated. Have you ever, like, capers are my enemy. I love
Mm,
capers, cannot eat them. Cannot eat them.
really?
The sodium like really fucks me up.
Oh,
It's
wow.
bizarre. I one night, I'm feeling good. I'm like, I feel really lean. I feel like Soleil. I have chicken piccata. I make it. I have the capers. 20 minutes later, I'm like a balloon. I was like, oh fuck, I forgot that they make me like really
Oh,
like the
wow.
sodium is just so bad. I'm on the toilet for like 3 hours.
What?
Like my body was just like, get this out of our system. It was so crazy.
Wow.
And so weird. So now I avoid capers because I'm just scared of having that experience.
I'm scared to
But
be in the toilet for 3 hours.
maybe it wasn't 3 hours, but it was like back and forth. And eventually I was just like, okay, I'm just like bringing my phone. I'm just gonna sit here and just watch something because like I'm scared to get up. It was horrible. It was horrible. So even you're doing all the right things, you could eat something that like fucks up your body, right? And you're just like, ooh, you know what? Didn't agree with me. And then you wake up the next morning and you're like, oh, I feel like shit. Like I'm so bloated. I don't look good. That body image, it's always, I kind of view it as like a sliding scale. Like we're always susceptible to being really hard on ourselves,
Mhm,
especially people that get their period. Your body can change so many times throughout that month just based on where you're at in your cycle. It might not be
mhm,
drastic changes, but like energy might be different. You might be looking at yourself in the mirror differently. One day you might be like, oh, I'm hot as fuck. The other day you might be like, oh, God, like I could really work on a couple of things. So, how do we have coaches, and this is why, we have these really great tools. And because we're coaches, but
mhm,
how would you describe it to a client that is experiencing these things? They've never worked with a coach. They don't have any tools because I know for me and you, we go to the data. We're like, well, have I been on
mhm,
point? Okay, if I've
mhm,
been on point, where am I at in my cycle?
mhm.
We can kind of go through the data points. But for, an average person, somebody that's not really experienced in what we are, how do you like to describe it? And how do you coach them through those moments
Like moments of where they're feeling they're
of
having
bad
bad.
body image? And they're like,
Oh, okay.
we need to change the plan, like reroute because
Yeah.
I'm looking in the mirror and this is not what I'm happy with.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what I said. We take the emotion out of it and asking kind
Mm-hmm.
of like the hygiene habit quiz, which I need to make still. It's on my it's on my docket. Didn't make that quiz. But asking what has your stress been like? Let's look back. How many workouts have you completed? The ones we set to complete.
Mm-hmm.
What's your sleep been like? Your water intake, your food quality. Where are you at in your period? Because if you're ovulating, you're probably gonna be a little bit up. If you're on before your period, you're probably going to be a little bit bloated, maybe craving a little bit extra chocolate or eating a little bit extra here and there. I mean, all of these things come into play. And if someone is experiencing all of those things and being, for lack of better words, a bit sloppy, of course, we're going to feel like, ugh, a little bit
Mm-hmm.
icky. Now, a lot of times when you have someone who is doing really well and let's say you're reverse dieting them, meaning you're giving them more food and they're feeling amazing and the scale might even be going down, all of a sudden like bam, bad body image day. It's you have to remind them that like this is not the consistent thing, that's it's not going to be like this
Yep.
forever. It's just a small blip in the scale or in the time range. And to remember like, okay, I'm looking in the mirror, I'm just hating what I see right now. Remember, like, what have you been able to accomplish lately? What small
Mm-hmm.
wins have you had? Have you been increasing the weight in the gym or having better form or you're way more consistent now? Looking at all of those wins, no matter how small they are, because for me, not being on my phone this morning, that was a big win. I had like
Mm-hmm.
I was like in an inner battle in my mind, like grab the phone, don't grab the phone, grab the phone, like look at the phone. Like I haven't been on social media yet and it's 9:30 in the morning. Like that's hard for me. So celebrating all those wins because life is a lot more than how much you weigh on the scale, because that's just like it can change every day. And exactly how much fat you have in this one area, It's always bringing it back to like what are the things that like truly matter, and depending on their health journey. Like for me, I'm like, oh yeah, could not walk at 21. Like I try to
Right.
remember that a lot. So it's gonna depend on the experience of the person, but I have clients that had big health scares, that had an accident happen, she couldn't walk, things like that. So it's like bringing you back to like touch the earth again. Let's remember why we are doing this, not to be perfect, not to be
Hmm.
a size 0 or whatever it is, to be healthy, and we're going to fluctuate. Everyone feels this way at some point.
Hmm. And I feel like it's important to also reiterate that you are going to experience those days, even if you
Yeah.
haven't yet, or you
Yep.
haven't paid much attention to it. It's going to happen regardless, just because you're a living, breathing human and you're going to feel some type of way. It's also hard if you're a millennial or like older Gen Z and you have a lot of like early 2000s like
Mhm.
bodies to compare yourself to.
Mhm.
And I love seeing those videos of like how styles and trends and like desirable bodies change throughout history,
Mhm.
because things are always coming in and out. Like early 2000s was like scary thin, and then it was like curves are great again, and then this and that. And it's like, okay, our bodies are not a trend, one, but two, no wonder why when you're having a bad, maybe a bad-ish day, and then you look in the mirror and you're like, oh my God, like I just want to look like this celebrity or this person that I saw online. And what the fuck, I've been working so hard, and like, yeah, I'm making progress, but like,
Mhm.
why isn't it leaning more towards this body type or this whatever? So I always get in those in my, not, I don't get in my head about these things, but I always am thinking how hard it is to be a woman wanting to work on their health, maybe lose weight, get stronger, and not compare yourself on those
Yeah.
hard days
Yeah.
to the trends that you were seeing growing up. Because no matter
Yeah.
how old you are, no matter how much work you've done, it's like your brain kind of creeps back and it's like, oh my God, like this person was so small and thin and they could wear the cute low-rise jeans, and I just feel like that would look not so great on me. And it just is a constant battle. And that's where coaching can be really helpful to kind of untangle those messes and
Mhm.
to kind of dive in deep. Well, why are we continuing to look back, and why are we
Yeah.
continuing to compare ourselves? Like, where does that
Mhm.
come from? And usually we
Yeah.
get a deep answer. Like that shit is
Yeah.
not surface level. That shit has to kind of be like pulled out of a client.
Yeah, like they sometimes they don't even realize it, like that they're
Right.
doing that. I had that with a client, like it was like her habits were so good, and all of a sudden it was like I, I don't even know, it was just like everything went crazy. And I was like, what's
Yep.
going on right now? And she goes, I was not expecting this transition with my life right now.
Yep.
Okay, well, why okay, well, we had this, and you just keep going, keep pulling, and you find like where the answer is at, and that comes from
Yep.
like something from childhood or whatever it is. And something that I don't know if you felt this way growing up, but and it's kind of like a two-part story, but part one being when I would watch like iCarly or like Zoe
Yeah.
101 or like whatever, or any movie, and they're showing like a, teenager to like, young 20s, super pretty, society standards of beauty, thin, whatever. And they're showing them like eat whatever they want, party, get no sleep, like drink alcohol, but they
We
have
were
like the
talking about this.
right, but they have the
Yep.
perfect body. And I'm like,
Yep.
but I don't how I'm like they're so lucky they can do that. And in my young mind, I'm thinking that's like how like I know this person is an actor, but I'm like, but how can they like I'm thinking of the character. I was like, "Oh, how can that
Right.
character be able to do that?" And here's have you've experienced that, right? Because we kind of talked about that before.
Well, we were talking about it with like Summer House. You're
Oh,
like,
yes.
how can the girls like drink all weekend and, some of their meals look fairly balanced, and they've got a protein, they've got some veg, they're eating good food, but then they're also getting a ton of late night pizza and different stuff and like
Oh, their
lots of
meals are never
alcohol.
balanced. What are you talking
No, some
about?
on like a Friday, when they go out on a Friday, they usually go to a
Uh,
nice dinner, and I hear
Sometimes.
like, oh, I'll get this certain fish or I'll get a steak or whatever. And I'm looking at those plates and I'm like, that looks pretty bomb.
With
But it's
like
not
3 espresso martinis.
well, that's what I was about to say. It's not the food, it's the drinking. And like
Mhm.
even, yesterday, my mom is here because she can't the eclipse doesn't like cover totally in Massachusetts. So I was like, come up here, let's hang out. And we were watching the women's basketball game yesterday, and I got these like gin soda things, and one was like 100 calories, one was 150 calories. And then after dinner, we were watching a movie, so I had like a glass of like this really gorgeous, beautiful wine. So that's like 120 calories. So right there, even though I'm being cognizant and I planned for it, the calories still add up. So, like,
Mhm.
thinking about how they're all partying on the weekends, they're drinking so much,
To
especially
blackout,
espresso martini.
basically.
Those are like 300 a pop. Those are so, yeah, like, because it's
I
like creamy and
Yeah,
they're delicious. Like,
it looks
a lot
good.
of drinks are so yummy. Like, that's why, like, you drink them because, like, they don't taste like alcohol. Like, they taste actually good. But that's where it's like, ooh, a lot of the calories. And then they're getting the late night foods. And then we're watching them as the viewer and being like, and this is also with like a caveat. We don't know what their weeks look like. We have no idea outside of what we're seeing. But all of these women are like, pretty small. They're like straight sizes. Like there's no plus size. Some of them like have like some fucking, defined bodies. Like we are seeing
Mhm.
some people are looking real good. All the guys are like pretty ripped. The bodies are bodying. And I'm like, how are you? Like
I
what
know.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
And so that's where it can also like fuck with people's head, whether it's like you're watching kids as a show as a kid or even up
Mhm.
to adulthood. And that's where
Mhm.
I have to pause. I'm like, you know what? I
Mhm.
don't think about it too deep. It's just like move on. Just watch the show
Yeah.
and don't think about it. But do you catch yourself like in those?
Oh,
I mean, we're
1000%.
we're texting about it. We're like,
I
oh my
know.
God.
Like, there's a reason why part of me not drinking alcohol was because I was on a hard medication and you could
Right.
not drink alcohol.
Yeah.
So that was when I turned like 21. I started the medication when I was like 21. So I had like a couple drinks and I was like, this is not for me. And then I went on the medication. And then I had been off that medication, thankfully, because it's a hard one. And I was like, I just don't think I want to drink my calories. So
Mhm.
part of me is like, I don't want to drink calories. Let's be honest, I like to eat. And then the other part is like, I don't want to add more inflammation into a body that's already like pretty inflammatory.
Yeah.
So it's like a two-way street here. But sometimes maybe it's more because like extra calories. But if I had a
Sometimes,
drink,
yeah, I feel that.
yeah, if I had a drink, I think I would have an espresso martini and I would never look back. So I would never
You would
try one
never
because,
you would never look back because they literally it just tastes like a yummy coffee.
oh
And that's
God,
the
yep,
problem.
nope,
That's the problem.
nope. I
You
can't try
go
it.
out, especially
I'll
if it's
become
like
an
the
alcoholic.
evening, you're a little tired, after work, you're meeting up with your girlfriends. Oh, of course I'll have an espresso martini. Oh, of course I'll have another. Of course I'll have another. And it's like
Oh, it
I
sounds
can't
good.
have more than like two because they're pretty strong. Like my tolerance is like so low because of my medication. But there was an episode of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Heather literally had like nine, and she was like blackout, threw up in the bus. Like I'm like, oh girl, like you know what, R.I.P. to your
I
soul,
want to
because
know, do you know
yeah,
how many calories are in there and how much caffeine?
I don't know how
Protein,
much caffeine, and
calories.
oftentimes certain places will just make it with like a decaf.
Oh,
It
that's smart.
depends,
Okay.
like, yeah, but I would estimate it's at least 300 calories per drink because some places are going to make it with like a little bit creamier, a little bit more Baileys.
True,
Some places
true.
don't do Baileys. So it's at least 300 calories. I would say
This
3 to
is
400.
180 to 200, but depends on the ingredients. And then there's another one. Are espresso martinis healthy? Combining caffeine and alcohol is a dangerous practice. That's funny. Um,
Vodka Red Bulls.
oh yeah. But what was I gonna say?
Love
My
them.
mind was going somewhere. I can't.
You at this point in your life, you're like, I don't want to introduce alcohol, probably for like more of the reason because you've been working so hard to get rid of
Yeah.
your autoimmune disease. Like you're in this moment of your life where I mean, and this I would go out on a limb to say, like, is it almost just like I would be afraid that it would kind of undo all of the work that I've done?
Yeah, that's how I feel about Botox too.
Oh,
Because
really? Yeah.
yeah, you guys know I love anything to get rid of potential wrinkles. Like, I'm
Shout out to
game
the
for it.
frownies.
Shout out to Frownies. I'll put my code below.
Yes.
I love Frownies, and my sister gets Botox. She loves all that stuff, which is fine. Like, I'm not like, don't do this. Like, do what you want to do. And there is so much studies on Botox, like being like this is like non-harmful, and then
Mm.
there's always everything, depending on what you're looking at, what side.
Totally. Yeah.
But it's a foreign substance, and like my body rejected getting my ears double pierced. Like, I'm not gonna
Mm.
add another thing. Like, I'm allergic to like penicillin. Like, odds are I'm gonna be allergic to like
Oh,
Botox for some reason. I just
yeah.
don't want to chance it, so I'm just not going down that route. And I like my bedtime routine with like my facial massages, and like I'm good with
Yeah.
that. So but yeah, I'm like in this point where I'm like not adding anything that could potentially like it would be like so vain to me to be like I have to get Botox and then like take like 10 steps backwards in my like let's get off
Yeah.
medication journey. So yeah. What I was going to say is oh okay, so that whole idea of like looking at actors and the actors
Mm.
playing this role of this person and
Mm.
they look society standards beautiful where they live this like crazy life. It reminds me when I don't know if you read this book by Jennifer McCurdy. Um, she wrote I'm Glad My Mom Died.
Jeanette McCurdy.
Jeanette McCurdy, yeah.
I did read
Um,
it. Yes.
yes. And she says how
Honestly, so good.
I
I
recommend that book to anyone. I like
cried
cried.
all
Yep.
oh, but to know, especially with Quiet on Set that just came out, and
I
to
still need to
be
watch that. It's
growing up with
yeah.
these actors essentially and watching them on TV, it gives you just such a different perspective of
Mhm.
to what was really going on. Oh my God.
Mhm.
So her character, you were about to say,
Yeah, so her character is like Sam. She's crazy. She's eating chicken legs.
the
She eats a
wild
ton of
one.
yeah, eats
Yeah.
a ton of this, ton of that. And when she would go home, her mom would basically starve her. Like her mom was
Mm.
trying to keep her in this like tiny like 12-year-old body her whole life. She didn't
Like
want her to grow
young
up.
and
Yes.
beautiful and oh
Yes.
yeah.
And so it's like, wow, I had no idea that she was playing and I would look at her character and be like, how fun is it? Like this is how aware I was of
Yeah.
size and eating too much food at a young age, looking at her wishing I could be like that, and then she's going home and getting starved. Like
Yeah.
you don't know the duality of things and like what people are really going through, but that's why we always say to clients like you don't know what they had to do to get there. Like even like
Right.
I was just looking at stuff on Instagram and I really don't look at Instagram reels. Like I'm not one to do that. Like TikTok, yes, but Instagram
Yeah.
reels, like I'm
Instagram
not in
reels
that.
are like, honestly, it's like such boomer energy. Like, it just
But
feels like
anyway,
so old.
yeah, a little bit. It just, who hangs out there, and but they're just older. TikTok's younger. It's like, looking at stats here. And I saw this girl and she was like jacked. And I was like, ugh, I had to
Mm.
swipe. Like
Mm.
that's where my mind is at. Like
Mm.
there are days where I'm just like, oh man, like I need to be in a bikini. Like even when I even when I record like my cold plunging, I'm like,
Yep.
I hope I don't look like super chubby. Like that
Yep.
that shit goes through my mind still.
Yep.
Like it
Yep.
is like that demon you have to fight off. Like for people that struggle with body image, it like never goes away. Just like for you, like your anxiety, like a part of it probably, not to like put this on you, but a
No,
part
it
of it
will
might
never
might
go away.
yeah, it's just kind of and I mean unless we like dig through some stuff, but it might never go away.
But even that, like as I go into like motherhood, like that postpartum anxiety, she's going to be
Mm.
rampant. Like,
Does that scare you to think about? Like I
no.
don't know. No. 'No? 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 'No?
I don't think so. Like, there are some people that are like, you shouldn't be on antidepressants or mood stabilizers while you're pregnant, but I'm like, um, that is also just like it's depending on what study you look at. But I'm like, is it more important for the mother to be stable and like mentally healthy? Like,
Yeah,
I feel like that's more
yeah,
important. So I'm like, I would not raw dog pregnancy with like no medications. And like, I don't know,
yeah.
like I just have by that time, I have been in therapy for so long. Like, will it be probably pretty bad? Yeah. Like I have an inkling that it might not be great just because of like where my natural level is, but also at the same time, like I am not I am not I'm very vocal about like when I'm having really bad days. And like it's quite visible. And so I don't have a fear of that. Like I won't be able to get through it. Like it probably I mean, and it might not be bad. I don't know. But like I kind of like my
Mhm,
brain goes to like prepare for the worst always.
mhm,
But no, it literally doesn't scare me. I don't know. And
mhm.
maybe it will, but like at this point, I don't know.
Is
Ask
there
me
a
when I'm
part of
pregnant.
you? Yeah. Is there a part of you that like some people like their whole life changes like
Mm,
of course their whole life changes
yeah.
when they're pregnant, but like maybe it's like you find this new ability to control your anxiety better because it's like I can't have a day where I'm like feeble and in bed because of my anxiety. Like I have a child to take care of, you know?
Um, well, I don't often have those days. Like
Oh, that's good.
I don't have the luxury to, right?
Hmm.
Like it's most of the time it's just like panicking through it. And
Hmm.
like people often they'll be like I say to my friend one time, I was like, oh my God, I just had like I'm like, I'm about to have a really bad panic attack. And she's like, oh, you seem so calm. And I'm like, no, like I'm literally dying inside. And so
Hmm.
it's not often that it keeps me in bed, but it's like it keeps
Hmm.
me at home. Like it keeps me in a safe space. And I think honestly, like as you become a parent, it's like that fear only grows more because like honestly, like sending your kids to school in America is probably one of the fucking scariest things.
Hmm.
Um and just having that like that maternal fear that's now like inside of you like I have to protect this being now because
Hmm.
like you're just like so like the what do you call it, like the primal instinct is you is like I have to protect this, like that
Hmm.
the hormones all change, and I don't think guys they don't feel, they probably have those anxieties but they don't feel it the same,
Mm-mm.
so I don't know. I mean, I don't, it's not something that concerns me. What more concerns me, it was always like growing up, it was like anytime, like, you think about gaining weight, it was always like, I hope I'm not hating myself during pregnancy. Like, I hope I'm able to
Mhm.
enjoy the process because your body changes like crazy and you don't really have control how it changes. Like, some women, they have like this bump and it's like so cute and gorgeous. And you're just like, oh, you're glowing. And then other people have like really difficult pregnancies and they're just like,
Mhm.
oh, like this is not the joyous experience that like everybody talks about. Um,
Mhm.
which I feel like let's more normalize like the horrible, crazy, not glamorous experiences because that's probably what more people face. Like,
Mhm.
because it's hard shit. It's like you're creating a human being. It's not just like this like lovely little butterfly.
I mean, that's how I birthed Remy. It was an easy
I
process.
know, I know, I know. You were like, but those pictures where it's like a sonogram and it's like, this is not your baby, and it's like a cat, and it's like, what do you like?
Yep.
This is my baby. That's
Yeah, what are
you.
you talking about? Yeah,
You're
a
like, yeah,
hundred
this
million
is my
percent.
baby. The labor was quick, just it was perfect. Like I couldn't ask for
Mhm.
anything better. And now she's here and she's perfection.
Yeah.
But I
So
think
so
also
so
like
true.
like especially, people have to the whole point of this, people have to understand that like body image is also not something that you're going to cure, right? If
Yeah.
you've I think if you've dealt with it like any honestly any sort of like anxiety or depression, um, it comes and goes. And it's about having the tools to be able to respond appropriately. Because sometimes you can spiral and you don't have the tools and you're like,
Mhm.
oh, I feel really gross today. Okay, I'm going to cut my calories and just like, I need to lose weight. That's
Mhm.
probably not the appropriate response. Like, let's give your body a little bit of time. Like, let's check in. Are we doing our steps? Are we hitting our macros, etc. So I think it's important to remember that like you're going to experience it, but it's how you have the tools to combat it is
Yep.
is really what we like to teach, and what our coaches and people that we've worked with, that's what they remind us of. It's like, keep it in check. Like, what can we do? Are we responding appropriately?
Like if you are always basing your next move off of a emotional
Mm,
response, you're never going to reach the goal that you want. This could literally be for anything. Like
anything.
business, it's really big for business. Like if we base
Mm-hmm.
everything off emotional, like business going down the toilet, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um your health for sure is that. Like if I went and started doing crazy things, like I probably would have burned out very quickly and then made another rash decision because I can't do this. What am I gonna do? And then you get
Mm-hmm.
that yo-yo effect. So taking the emotion out of your decision is going to make things a lot easier for your life.
It also kind of, it's as you are getting like dopamine hits like from your phone and scrolling, and you're trying to like pull back and do a little detox. It's the same thing with like decision making, right? It feels in a way better to make a decision to do something new versus just kind of chilling out and trying
Mhm.
to ground yourself and doing the things that you've been doing, right? Like, it
Mhm.
for some people it's like, oh, it feels better to cut those calories than to stay where I am, get back to my steps, hit my macros, drink my water, stress management. Like, that doesn't feel like I'm doing enough. So let me
Just like
go over
excitement
here.
in the new thing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
exciting to do something
Even if it's
different.
like I feel fucking horrible, I'm looking in the mirror and I don't like myself, but let me cut those calories because you know what? That is kind of exciting, and that feels like a change will happen.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
And I've been there. Like, let's be real. Like in high
Yeah.
school, college, it was like,
Oh God. Ugh.
what's the new thing that we can do
Mhm.
to get that hit again?
Mhm.
Which is like
Usually
kind
it's
of
like
crazy.
yeah, usually it's like
Yeah.
go for a run at like 6 a.m. I never run, and you're like running. You're like, what am I
Yeah.
doing?
You're like, why am I running? I hate running.
Uh-huh.
Like, my parents are they were marathon runners. My dad did
Oh, I
like
didn't know that.
34 and my mom did like 17, I think.
Wow.
And so growing up, my sister was like a really good runner. Like, she likes running. Right
Mhm.
now she actually does Muay Thai. And she like
That
loves
is
it.
so I cannot wait to talk to her in July.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah. She like it, like sometimes I I forget like how like badass she can be
That's so
sometimes. And like, I'll
cool.
watch her like little Muay Thai videos and she's like, look at how much better I'm getting. Like when you post your like shooting videos of like your
Mhm.
progress, she's like, look at me, like look at these punches and all that. And I'm just like, I love that. Like, I love
That's so cool.
a good visual progress of like
Mhm.
something you love, like a hobby. You're like, this is
Mhm.
something that I'm doing to get better at. Like, I'm loving to work on myself in this area.
Mhm.
But she was a really good runner. And so I always felt like, oh, I just have to be good at running. Like I did
Mm.
cross country in high school. And
Hmm.
I did cheer, but cheer is like the running aspect of that was just like conditioning. But like, I literally
Yeah.
hated cross country. I fucking hate running. I
I
don't
would
think it's
hate cross
fun.
country too.
And for so long, I was like, oh, I have to do this because like I'm just supposed to be a good runner. And I was like,
Mm.
I fucking hate this. But it was like, I remember hearing girls being like, oh, running's the fastest way to lose weight. Oh, it's so great. It keeps the weight off. And I'm like, in high school, I'm like, yeah, it keeps the weight off. And I'm like, bitch, what weight do you have to keep off? But it's just like these weird things you put on yourself because you think you have to do it
Mhm.
because other people around you are or whatnot. So
Mhm.
I gave up the running a long time ago.
Mhm.
if I have the inclination to like, if it's a nice day and I'm like, you know what, I feel like a run might be kind of fun,
Hmm.
I'm gonna go, but I'm not like gonna do shit that like I absolutely hate.
Hmm. It's funny you say that because I found a video on my phone from one of Father's Days, like a couple years, maybe
Yeah.
5 years ago, and we went rock climbing.
Ooh,
I
wait, outdoor, indoor?
indoor. I Yeah, we went to like Mount Everest and just
I don't know what the family vibe is. So I'm like, are we a family of rock climbers and I'm just learning about this?
no, no. My sister like she does different hobbies and that's like one of hers that she kind of likes, like
Yeah.
bouldering and stuff like that. And I have a video of me like climbing up. I When I say I hate heights, I hate
Oh
heights.
no.
I have a bit and like I get through it and I like tap the top really quick and like come back down fast. Like
Oh
I
no.
just and I was like, I need to post this video and just talk about like how like to your example, let's say my whole feeling was rock climbers and
Yeah.
I associated with exercise with rock climbing and I effing hate heights. I hate rock climbing. I don't like exercise. I'm never gonna do that. Do you know what
Yes.
I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people do. And so, it kind of two conversations within this is like you can find something else that you like and get into it,
Yes.
but I hear this a lot. Like I even have clients that are like, I really don't like to exercise, but I'm gonna do my 3 days a week of lifting or 2 days, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do it because I know it's good for me. I have to do it. I think if rock climbing was the same thing as lifting weights, I think I would push myself to do it, you know, a half an hour a week. I think I would push myself to do it. Meaning like building muscle is very and very, very, I can't express how important it is for your life, for your
Yeah.
independence, for your bone density, for everything to stay,
Yeah.
able to move as you age. Now, if you hate lifting weights, okay, find a different way to move, and maybe slowly incorporate it. Just try, like, do three things like push ups,
Yep.
squats, lunges, or whatever it is, and make it work. So I think if I had to do rock climbing, and if rock climbing was lifting weights, I would find a way to do it. But also, there are many other ways to exercise. It doesn't have to be your only one.
Right. I think that's important to it doesn't have to be your only one. Even if like like you said, you hated weightlifting. Even if you start with 1 day a week and then you
Yeah.
do the other things that you like, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
That's a starting point. That's better than nothing. Because again,
Yeah.
we advocate for weightlifting for a lot of like the health benefits. Yes, will you get that, aesthetic physique that you're looking for, losing weight? Yeah, that's a byproduct of it, but we're
Mhm.
advocating for it for so many other reasons that you're maybe
Mhm.
not seeing right now. And
Mhm.
so we're not just, doing it because it's trendy or it's the newest exercise or whatever. We're grounded
Mhm.
in our reason. And so
Mhm.
if you don't like it, that's all right, but let's try and find a way where we can incorporate a little bit and maybe
Yes.
grow on it. And if you still
Yep.
really don't like it, what can the minimum be? And like
Yep.
if it's if it comes down to I hate exercise, my question is always like, how can we make it
Fun.
palatable? We start from
Yeah.
there. How can we make it easier? And then it usually
Yeah.
starts to turn into
You
something they
like it.
enjoy because it gets easier. It gets exciting. You feel stronger. You're up for the challenge. You feel more confident. So
Mhm.
I love that. Can you imagine us, you rock climber of the century, me running up and down, running across America? Like,
Doing like the Boston Marathon.
yeah, my friend Matt, who we're going to be interviewing, he is running his third Boston Marathon April 14th. And my
Oh,
parents
wow.
have run that many times. Um, and it's like always really exciting. Like I love the group aspect of things and like cheering
Mhm.
people on and just like
Mhm.
going and watching the marathon. We're such degenerates. Like we'd go to like lunch, brunch, we'd get drinks, watch him, and then I'd be like watching his number and I'd be like, oh, like he's right here. Let's like go and find where he is. And we're like, "Woo," and like, but
Uh,
it's so fun. Like I love that group aspect of like
mhm.
everybody is in one place to just like cheer on and celebrate and like the vibes are good.
The vibes are vibing.
The vibes are vibing. Same with like the eclipse. Like I saw this TikTok. It was like people are literally just cheering for the planets and it's so wholesome. And I'm like, you know what? It is. Like when
That's
when
funny.
all else fails, just remember that humanity can be fucked up, but also at the slightest like, thing like cheering for the planets can bring us together. And I know, is the moon a planet? Now I'm saying this. I don't even know if the sun's a planet, but like that's what the TikTok said. But they're stars, right? Like technically they're like big stars. Just
Is,
cheering
hold
for
on,
the
is the moon a planet? It does not orbit around the sun independently. The moon
so it's
orbits around the Earth, so it can't be classified as a planet because it does not orbit around the sun independently.
so what would we call it? Like people are cheering for
It's
science.
neither a star or a planet.
So should we just say people are cheering for science? Like
I
well, I don't
guess.
know, like the sun and the moon are doing their thing. Go sun and moon.
What are the sun and moon called? Mm,
They're called the
no,
sun
that's,
and the moon.
yeah, it doesn't. Oh, celestial bodies.
Oh, okay, Soleil. Let's cheer for these celestial bodies.
I
Body,
like
yada,
that.
yada, yada. I actually really like that. Okay, that's a
I'm a
vibe.
celestial being.
That's what you are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I said.
like a person, right?
Celestial being? I don't know what that is.
That's what you
Celestial.
are. I think that's like a
Oh, no, no, no. It can refer to a sky deity, an
oh,
angel, extraterrestrial life,
oh, interesting. Wait,
supernatural.
did you
Sorry.
say sentient? Oh, what's a sentient being? I think that's what I was thinking of.
Oh, sentient. I don't know.
Watch, I feel like something
Sen-
really weird.
Sentient. Let's see. Wait, sentient with an S
Maybe a C? I don't know,
is
sentient being.
capable of sensing or feeling. I am a sentient
Yeah,
being.
yeah, yeah. So like with AI, people are worried that like it will become a sentient being.
Ooh, that's creepy.
Yeah. Honestly, AI is kind of fun. Like as it where it is now,
Hmm.
we love a chat GPT moment. We
Hmm.
love the AI tool on Canva. Like where it is right
Hmm.
now, it's fun.
I'm happy.
It doesn't need to go. Okay?
Yeah,
Like,
I think it's met its quota, but like
yeah,
the
it
problem is
hasn't.
science doesn't stop there. Money does not
Mhm.
stop there. So we will foresee it take on new forms. Did you ever watch Black Mirror? Is that the show? Black Mirror?
Yes.
Did
Yes.
you watch it?
Yes. Yes.
Did you watch the one where it was like the lady's husband dies and like she basically orders like a husband online and it's him?
I didn't because I
Oh,
like started it and I was getting scared.
that one was so creepy. So her husband dies and she starts talking to like a robot basically, and
Yeah.
it's basically him. So I don't know if they like downloaded his brain, so to speak, or whatever it was. It
Mm.
seems like it was just like a weird option she found online. And then she ordered him and he arrived in a box and it looked exactly like him. And I can't, it's a little fuzzy remembering this,
Yeah.
but like she like hides him in a closet and her friends are like, "What are you doing?" She was on her phone all the time and then she's
Yeah.
hiding him from all her friends. I think she ends up killing him or killing herself. I don't know. It was really creepy. I was like, "Oh, it's scary."
Yeah, some of those episodes I got too scared. I had to turn off. I'm like a baby when it comes to like
Oh, I can't watch
creepy
anything
things.
scary. I can't watch anything scary. Nope.
No, I get too scared. Like I think I told you
Same.
this. When we were in Vermont, we had watched it was Haunting of Hill House, which I actually didn't think was
Nope.
that scary. Like
Nope.
it was more just like kind of confusing, but like was it really scary? No. I had
Mhm.
questions. And
Mhm.
in the middle of the night, I went up to go to the bathroom one time and our faucet used to have a light on it. So like you didn't have to turn the light on in the bathroom.
Hmm.
So I turned it on and I'm washing my hands and I was like, oh my God, imagine I look up in the mirror and there's something behind me. And then I just
Stop.
start scaring myself. And then I don't have like my phone with me and I didn't want to turn on all the lights because like I was trying to walk back to the bedroom. And then I'm like,
Uh-huh.
oh God, am I gonna step on a cat? Like, no, I can't see anything. I'm like trying to rush back to the bed and I'm like getting all scared. And I like go up to like James's back and I like have the covers like this because I'm just so scared.
Oh God. Yeah, no, no, I can't do anything scary. Like I will think about a scene from a movie and like play out that scene
Oh,
100 million
yes.
times and like then I'll be dreaming about that scene and then like adding on more to it like
Oh.
Walking Dead, like things that pop out, like
Oh, that
exorcism
scared
stuff.
you?
Yes, anything that pops out and jumps. No, not good
Oh,
for the nervous
oh.
system. No, we are a
Yeah.
jumpy person.
Oh, I'm very jumpy. Yeah.
Yeah, and anything demonic, like nope, cannot watch. Like, yep,
The
can't do it.
demonicness doesn't really scare me. It's just more like,
How?
mm, I don't like, I don't like the the psychological fuck things up, like kill people and skin them and
Mm.
eat them. That to me, I can't fucking do. But like gore is fine. Jump scare, I get a little scared in the moment, but then I'm like, oh, what's gonna happen next? Um, but yeah, I don't know. It doesn't like I can do a lot more than I like actually want. Like I don't want to watch it, but if James like is like, come on, let's watch it. I'm like, all right. And I'm like kind of like in the corner, and then I'm like, wait, that wasn't that bad.
Oh yeah,
I
no,
like, oh, I get like stressed about it.
I could see that.
But then it's like if I gotta pee in the middle of the night, I'm fucking scared. I'm like, I need like a weapon. Like,
Yeah, I don't need to be living my life in fear after watching a scary movie. Like,
yeah,
cannot
it's
do it.
yeah,
Nope, not worth it. I saw like it was good TikTok and it was this guy, he's like in mental health therapy or something like that.
yeah,
And he was saying he's like, I don't watch scary movies because like why live in like fear? And I was like,
yeah,
yes, that
yeah.
is me. Don't watch I can't watch scary. I can't watch demonic. I can't watch thriller. I can't watch animals dying. Like
Do you like a
even like
sci-fi?
I like reality TV because there's nothing scary and their
Yeah.
lives are trash, and it makes me feel better about myself. Like, trash as in,
See,
like,
yeah,
they're doing, like, so much crap,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
drinking, partying, fighting, I'm like, "I have no drama, like, I love this," like, there's nothing,
Okay, but
like,
how
bad.
fun, whenever I'm watching Summer House and I'm looking at the parties, how fun would it be to go like a 4th of July party like that? Sign me the fuck up.
But see, I don't drink or anything, so
You know,
I would
he's
just be like
right.
like,
Mm.
I don't like speaking of that, I don't know how Amanda married Kyle, I truly do not. Like,
Yeah,
it's
I know. Why do I
like,
think
I
he's so attractive? Like I think he's like so hot and I don't know why. I some like my attraction scale is like so weird. Like anybody. And I'm like, you know what? I could find a way
Craig?
that you're like kind of hot.
No, Craig,
Who?
bleh. Craig.
Craig? Why are you saying
Yes,
Craig? Craig.
Craig. Craig.
Craig. Craig. You say
No,
Craig?
Craig. Craig.
Yeah, but it's Craig.
Craig.
Like Greg. Craig.
Greg? Greg?
Greg.
Craig. What's the difference?
Craig. Craig. So how do you say the the drink that comes out of a cow?
Milk?
Milk. Okay, you say milk normal. James says it like milk. MELK, milk. And I'm like,
No. No, no,
who
no, no.
raised you? But Craig is hot as fuck.
No. Mm-mm.
Really? Oh wow. I
Nope.
thought he was looking pretty good in this last episode that was just on last week.
I didn't. I'm on
I don't
season
know.
like
Yeah,
6 right now.
I don't know.
Um,
Not bad to like. What about Carl? I mean, like the name is fucking dorky. The name's bad.
um, I'm a big teeth person and like
Oh, okay. Does he
episode
have bad teeth?
season like 1 or 2, they were like really yellow. I just could not get down with
Oh.
it. Like I was like, bleh, like it just like made me kind of like want to gag.
Oh, I
I
should
just
go
couldn't
back
get
and
down with
look.
it. Yeah,
Really?
it's like
Oh.
buck teeth, very yellow. And I'm like not trying to be mean. Like he's
I did
like
not
it's just
notice.
stating facts.
Yeah, it's fine. I
But
mean,
yeah,
obviously, he like probably got some like whitening treatments now because like,
yeah, they look better. They look better. Yeah, Carl, he's okay, but like he's just too much with like being an alcoholic, and he's a lot of
well, he's sober now.
trauma.
I love that for him.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. But like it was, their partying days. Who else? Um, yeah, no, not
Do you
him.
remember Jordan?
Oh,
OM
and
friggin' G.
I think there are some things he has to work through. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not like trying to be like this person's that, but I just got like I got the vibe. It's just
He
like
was
he wasn't
so
the
weird.
he I got the vibe that like yeah, I wasn't what he was looking for, that type of thing.
Yeah. And like, don't even know why he was in the summer house. Like, he was so not like, he was just like awkward. And then I don't like Luke.
No, Luke is terrible. Like
And never
he
even thought he was cute.
he's okay.
His
Like
like Minnesota accent. I'm like, what the hell?
okay, I could see it.
Like
But
I didn't know where he was from at first.
oh, he was very very toxic. Still toxic, I think. But yeah, that's that.
Yeah.
Is there any before we keep rambling about Summer
No,
House for 10
I
years?
don't think so. I mean, the one thing is if you guys are listening to this and there's a connection for me to get into a party at Summer House, let me know because I will show up. Whatever anybody needs, I will be. Because
We will
as
send
I'm watching
Allie
it,
on that trip.
I like get FOMO. Like I don't like in college, I would darty like day party, but I would get really anxious about it. Like there's too many people, I don't like it. So in theory, I have FOMO about
Mm.
the parties, but it would probably be a lot. But I would do it because it's a once in a lifetime experience. Like we went to this pool party in Vegas. I probably would only go back like
Oh.
maybe once or twice. I don't need it a lot. Like it was a lot, but I was like, holy fuck, this is so fun. The next day, I just wanted to sleep all day. I was like, I've had too much interaction. Let's go to the Grand Canyon. Like that's what we did the next day. I was like, I need to like be
Oh,
in nature.
fun.
So we have
Yeah.
that like party nature
Yeah.
balance.
Yeah, we do. You know what? It's just like freaking hilarious because what episode were we talking about drugs and stuff? And you're like, oh, wait, it was with Sarah, I think. And you were like, yeah, I was a girl that was trying everything. I found a video of me in college and Allie, I freaking cry when I watch it. We need to clip you saying I was trying everything with this video of me. I was
Oh my
like,
God. What
I
are you
put her,
like? What's wrong with you? Tell me. Give me.
so I'm leaning over the counter. So look, there's not a lot of weight on my feet.
Yeah.
I have two plastic cups on my feet and I'm like doing pointing. It is the fucking funniest video. We need to clip that. You be like,
Yes.
I was doing everything, and then cut to me. Allie, it's so fun. I kept it. I've had this video for like years and years and years. It's so funny. And my roommate was like dying laughing. We need to cut that clip. It is too funny. Oh, I'm crying thinking about it.
I need to see it. I need you to text it to me because
I will download
did you fall at all? Or were you like, you stayed up?
it, and you just see my feet and the
Not the little feet. Oh
oh,
my God.
that we have to do that. Okay, let's wrap her up. Any last minute things? You just want to get a ticket to Summer
I
House?
want to get a ticket to Summer House. Body
Episode
image date. What?
in mind. This
What?
episode, last episode of the month.
Ooh, last episode of the month. And then guess what, motherfuckers? It's gonna be my birthday month.
Oh yeah, I'll be in Colorado.
Ooh. And then you guys, Maddie and I are planning a trip and we're going to be
Okay, well you just
recording.
ruined the surprise, but okay.
Oh, we'll bleep it out. Bleep. We'll bleep that out. We'll just bleep it out. Cut, cut, cut.
Okay. Or maybe we build up to it. I don't know.
Maybe we
What's
build up to
better?
it. We don't know. Well, what we should say is there's a surprise and we'll just bleep out what the surprise is.
Yes, there's a
So I'll
surprise
cut this
coming
part.
in July, maybe hopefully July, maybe in August. We haven't determined the date, official dates yet.
Cross your fingers, motherfuckers. But body image is I feel it is only as controlling as you let it be, right? If you
Hmm.
have the proper tools, if you have tools that help you ground yourself, it
Hmm.
doesn't have to be as overwhelming because it's like with anxiety, right? If you don't have the tools, if you're not in therapy, if you're not on your shit, that anxiety can unravel you. Same with the body image. If you are just looking in the mirror and you are pulling yourself apart and you're thinking of all the ways that you want to change your body and it's a bad day and then it starts to fall over into relationships or with friends and you are just like a bear because we've been there, we've all been there.
Hmm.
It's going to make it really hard, but when you have the tools, like if you are working with a coach, with shout out, we have some coaching spots open,
Hmm.
information is going to be below. That's something you get to work on. And we've personally worked on it with coaches. We help clients do that because it is such an important part of the process. If you don't work on the mental aspect, all the physical work is just kind of there.
And you will go through, like I always say, like you're going to go through speed bumps, right? It is better
Yep.
to be prepared on how to manage going over that speed bump because there will be more speed bumps down the road. So if you
Yep.
find yourself, dealing with perfectionism and, having to be 100% in or totally out because of something that comes up. And every time it comes up and you still haven't learned how to manage it, say goodbye to your results because you have to
Mm.
manage those things first, but to be able to maintain your results long term.
Yeah. I totally love that. Like to maintain, you need to manage.
Yes. No
Period.
notes, period. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching Kinda Hot, Kinda Healthy. Please make sure to subscribe, give us a 5-star review, and share us with your girlfriend who needs to hear this. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere where you can stream podcasts. If you have a burning question about life, friendships, health, and 1 or 2 cents, email us at kindahotpod@gmail.com. That's KINDAHOTPOD at gmail.com. Bye.
Bye.